This one gonna be a little different, y'all. A resident alien in search of a home. Welcome to the United States of America. Gene Maxeau, Boursiquot. Chapter 11. Miami, a deadly entanglement. With the mix of fear and uncertainty, I arrived in southern Florida. At this point, Miami was not a choice, it was my only option. I needed a more relaxed lifestyle for better health, but finding a career there looked dark. I was really in search for a place where my soul would be home. Miami became one of the biggest challenges I ever faced. The city was a collection of many races and ethnic groups. That was like a bomb with a fuse ready to light, ready to blow up. Though each place on earth has its issues, Miami was different. It was full of vice, a place where drugs and lust and corruption were at home. I planned to rent a house with Evans, but he was still staying at a friend's house and there was no room for me. So I spent a couple months with my sister. Those months truly fit the bill for a life of less stress. Florida's tropical beauty reminded me of my Haitian home. Palm trees, banana plants, and avocado trees surrounded houses with red tile roofs. The Atlantic Ocean brought a calm to my soul as I watched the waves crash on the shore. I sat for hours by the seaside, thinking of jobs the pristine, white sands of the Hollywood beach brought, and peace as I watched cruise ships head out to the sea or a sailboat dance with the waves. In addition, there was a Haitian community for some good cooking. There was, however, much under the surface. Florida retained the character of the Deep South. Though physical slavery was eradicated, the ghettos still existed, and mental slavery continued. One day, not long after I got there, I came face to face with hatred. I was playing outside with my nephews and nieces. A bull flew into the yard of a white couple and called across the street, and my oldest nephew went after it. The man came out and called us nasty names and told my nephew to leave and never set foot in the yard again. It was my first experience with the harsh in-your-face racism of the Deep South. I was mad because of the way he treated this young child. If he had come over and told me, "I don't want your child in my yard, I don't want anything to do with you," that would have been fine. But to call a 9-year-old those names, we tried to shield the children from that. And my sister's children had never been exposed to it. They were asking why the man was like that. My big brothers were concerned about their little brother's future. My second brother felt very strongly that I should go back to college, and came down to visit me while I was living with my sister. While he didn't get me to go back with him, he did save my life. We were at a friend of my sister's for an evening of fun around the pool. My second brother was a good swimmer, and after a couple of laps, he told me to hop in. "Hey, yo, pause. No homo. I didn't know how to swim. I'll teach you," he said. And he told me what to do. He dived into the deepest part of the pool and came out in the shallow part. I followed, and it worked perfectly. "Cool," I said, and went up another dive, but something went wrong. I went down, and I couldn't get back up. I was taking water, and I knew I was going to die. My brother dived under me and grabbed me from the back and got me to the edge of the pool, and I hung up on, coughing up water, bloated and short of breath. Pause. I had to go to lie face down to allow water to drain out of my lungs. I decided I wasn't going to learn to swim, but I was immensely grateful for my brother. I had bought a cheap Honda Civic for $500. So on Sundays, I drove into Miami to fellowship with Evan. We were attending a Baptist church whose pastor was well known and well liked throughout the city, as in the southeast part of Haiti. The pastor was glad to let Evans preach at first, but the people didn't want to hear about our doctrine, about the new birth, about the holy kiss, about women wearing dresses and head covering. The pastor soon gave Evs the options to preach a more acceptable doctrine or stop preaching. Before long, the door to share his doctrine with that Baptist church was completely closed. While Evans looked for a house, I looked for a job. It seemed an endless search, one interview after another, application after application. I would have done anything, even work in a store, but being Haitian, my accent and my skin color was against me. I interviewed for an electric position in Davie, a city next to Hollywood, Miami. Oh, Hollywood, Florida, I guess, sorry. I interviewed for an electricity position in Davie, a city next to Hollywood. The third manager there told me if I was up to it, I'd get the job. If it was up to him, I'd get the job. But he had 2 other managers above him, and he had to talk to them first. Since I was the candidate with the highest grade on the test, I should have gotten the job. But because white supremacy was strong in Davie and the surrounding communities, I failed the skin color test. The company never called me back. Finally, I resorted to being a cab driver. It was the only job for which I did not need a degree or experience. Because of the dangers of driving taxi, the position was always available. As soon as Evans found the house and I could move into Miami, I started driving cab. That was the beginning of a hard, long road. Being a Haitian made matters worse, for we were looked down on. I could not escape that identity. My Creole accent gave me away. At 4:30 a.m., I arrived at Metro Taxi, hoping to get a good car in North Miami. That meant something with the working fuel gauge and the speedometer. While these old Chevy Impalas were reliable, they offered little comfort with their cheap vinyl seats, especially in the heat of summer. The air, just somewhat cool, was heavy with a foul odor, a combination of hot vinyl and a hot driver. We had computers in our cars to communicate with the company headquarters. When we were ready for a ride, we entered the code for the section of the city we were working, 22 for North Miami, for instance. The dispatchers then sent us to the address for the next call that came in. Leaving the cab headquarters at 5 a.m. put me on the road for 12 hours. A good day brought me $75 in fares, which had to cover gas and the $55 rental fee for the taxi for the next day. I could not make it on that income. And yet, there were cab drivers who were easily supporting a family. What was their secret? One day, I came into the cab headquarters in the middle of the day, and I found drivers playing poker. "How can you make a living?" I asked one of the drivers I was acquainted with. "You have to be friends with those girls," he said, motioning toward the half-dozen girls doing the dispatching. "Then they'll give you special rides." He took me back there to meet them. The dispatch supervisor was his girlfriend. "Which one do you like?" she asked, pointing at 2 girls who were sisters, 2 Italian girls who looked like if they were in high school students. I walked out of there. I wanted no part of that. It wasn't fair that they'd bump a driver out of line to give a good ride to a boyfriend. I made up my mind to stay out of that dispatching room because the temptation was too great. I tried to find fair tactics to earn more money. I inquired of the other drivers. One day I saw that same acquaintance handing 4 to 5 government contract tickets and a couple $100. I stared in amazement. "I wish I had some of those rides," I said. "Oh," he said, "you put whatever amount on the ticket you want. It don't matter what the meter says." The government contracted cab companies to drive elderly people to the doctor or hospital. They give us a ticket instead of cash, and we fill the amount on the ride cost. It was a good deal for dishonest drivers. I tried it once, charging $45 for a $20 ride. The Lord didn't let it get by me. It was lying to the government. I repented and I never did it again. One day I picked up an older lady from the hospital after she had her cataracts removed. When she got out the house, she gave me a 20 and a 5 for a fare of $11. I said, "Ma'am, you paid me way too much." A resident alien of a home, Jane Maxeau Boursiquot. Thanks for calling.